In early 19th century England, Jane Eyre is orphaned as an infant and raised by her cruel aunt, Mrs. Reed, who resents her and treats her as inferior to her own children. After Jane defends herself against her cousin John's abuse, Mrs. Reed locks her in the Red Room where Jane's uncle died, a traumatic moment symbolizing her early isolation and oppression. Mrs. Reed sends Jane to Lowood School, an austere charity institution run by the hypocritical Mr. Brocklehurst, who preaches piety but starves and humiliates the students. Despite the school's hardships, Jane befriends Helen Burns, a gentle and devout girl who teaches her endurance and forgiveness before dying of consumption. Jane also finds a mentor in Miss Temple, a kind teacher who encourages her intellect and self-respect. Over 8 years at Lowood, Jane transforms from a mistreated child into a self-reliant young woman, eventually becoming a teacher there. Seeking independence, Jane accepts a position as governess at Thornfield Hall, teaching a French child named Adele, the ward of Mr. Edward Rochester, Thornfield's mysterious master. Jane and Rochester form a deep emotional bond, their conversations revealing wit, equality of spirit and repressed longing. Strange occurrences disturb Thornfield, mysterious laughter, a fire in Rochester's bedroom, and other uncanny incidents Jane cannot explain. Rochester eventually declares his love for Jane, and they plan to marry. However, on their wedding day, a lawyer interrupts the ceremony, revealing that Rochester is already married to Bertha Mason, a violent, mentally ill woman confined secretly in Thornfield's attic. Devastated, Jane refuses to become Rochester's mistress and flees Thornfield in despair. Jane wanders destitute until taken in by St. John Rivers and his sisters, who turn out to be her cousins. She inherits a fortune from her late uncle and shares it with her newfound family. St. John, a devout missionary, proposes marriage out of duty rather than love, urging her to join him in India. Jane nearly consents, but hears Rochester's voice calling to her as if across great distance. Jane returns to Thornfield to find it in ruins. Bertha has set the house on fire and died in the blaze. Rochester, injured and blinded while rescuing his servants, lives in seclusion at Ferndean Manor. Jane reunites with him, their love renewed and equal at last. They marry, and Rochester gradually regains sight in one eye. The novel ends with Jane's reflection on finding peace, independence, and true spiritual and emotional union with Rochester.